let's say I'm already in the 50-50 with Dylan, all right? I'm already here, we set it up however we did. I've got my legs locked. Luckily, he doesn't have his leg locked. We're going to ways of separating or whatever. Little nuance on finishing the heel hook, and then we're going to touch on the Achilles here. So if I want to finish this heel hook, again, the ideal, if I want to attack a joint, here particularly we're focusing on the knee. All right, the 50-50, I may very well hurt something in the ankle. This is by far way more serious of the injury and more likely of an injury resulting from this. This is why he'll tap, because of the pressure here ultimately. If I want to attack any joint, I need to control the joint above it and below it super well. So if I need to attack an arm for an arm bar, for instance, I need to both control his shoulder and his wrist. I could have his wrist really good and have a fulcrum back here, but if he can move his shoulder or even just go ahead and get up, yeah, I don't really have the control. Similarly, if I can control his shoulder super well, but I can't keep his arm here to bend it backwards, then I don't have the control. So the tighter and snugger I am on that bar joint, and the tighter and snugger I am on that near joint, the more adequately I can attack this joint. Similarly, in the 50, if we're here, as I cinch, I want this foot right in that crease where his leg turns into his torso. Right here. So I'm right at his hip. And this bottom knee is lifting and shelving. It should feel like a vice. Like it should feel like if I held this for like 30 minutes, his leg would be blue. That's what it should feel like. If you don't have that feeling, if you don't have like that complete tourniquet feeling, there's little adjustments to be made to make that be the case. So we're here. I pinch them tight together, but I start that clamping, the lifting with that bottom one, driving down with that top one, getting that tourniquet vice. Peeling, loading my chest to it, and getting this ideal pressure, right? My elbow's not inside his knee. My elbow's wound over his knee because that winds more pressure into the orientation. Pulling, pulling. Now, because this is so tight, and this is so tight, it would take super minimal motion to force a tap here. As opposed to if any of these elements were missing, there might be a lot of rolling involved. If I get both things super tight, I mean, it shouldn't matter how much the guy can roll, to be honest. It should be over from there, okay? Little detail on that elbow, pulling that back. So drawing that heel up to the chest, locking it there, and then bringing the chest down to it, locking that elbow over. Everything as tight as possible. Now, we'll talk about going to the Achilles. So every now and again, you'll end up in a tournament, like I just did the Nogi Pan Ams in New York, any IBJJF tournaments, International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation tournaments, they just don't let you do heel hooks. Don't ask me why, that's just one of their rules. Even Grappler's Quest, I think, the beginner novices, they don't let you do heel hooks either. So what other attacks can we go into from here before we start working on transitions? Well, one other attack that I can go into is the Achilles lock. So if I want to go for an Achilles lock from this position, I'm here in the 50-50, I need to focus on adjusting my angle. A heel hook, I can have my knees at somewhere around a 90-degree difference from my opponent's knees to get the heel hook. This will work, this will still work, and this might still work. I'm still tapping him with the heel hook with any of these knee angles. Even with my knee almost facing the same angle as his knee. Coach Tim likes this one, this will still work. The Achilles, however, doesn't work in all those ranges. The Achilles only works if my knees are facing the exact same direction as his. So from here, it's impossible for me to get an Achilles grip here. It just doesn't work. I need my knees to face the same direction as his, so how do I do that? What I'll do is I'll get that same peel. Not going for a heel hook, I just get this same peel. I'm going to tilt my hips so my knees face the same direction as his. As I do that, my top foot lands on his hip. My bottom foot is on his hip as well. So we're here, I pull this up tight, and I tilt, this arm dives down, and I'm here. My knees are facing the exact same direction as his. Once I'm in this position, I grab my own bicep, or my forearm, I put my other hand on his shin, and I'm going to clamp this elbow in. I'm going to force this arm as tight as I can behind his Achilles here, and using my feet to kick off, I'm going to drive my hips forward and extend. And I'm going to get my submission. So we're here. My knees are off angle. I cannot finish an Achilles in this angle. It just won't work. Heel hook has a bunch of different ranges you can finish. Achilles only works more or less in one sort of limited dimension. There's like a 5-degree difference if you get a good Achilles. So as I'm here, I pull it tight. I adjust myself to my angle, punch down, and my grip's already in place. Notice I punch down right to my bicep. This hand's already here. Top foot will be my primary driver. Bottom foot's still important. Top foot's my primary driver. Clamping down with my shoulder. Clamping. Extending. Get my finish. One more time. Here on the side, my legs are locked. I keep my feet protected. Pull up. tilt, adjust. Once I get to this spot, get the finish. Make sense, guys?